I have absolutely been waiting for this one. This is the Kimber 2K11. It is a double stack 1911 pistol, and this one specifically is chambered in 45, also known as the Lord's caliber, but it also comes available in 9mm. However, I requested and chose the 45 to do a video on just to see how it would turn out, being that this is Kimber's first true double stack 1911 pistol. This one is the upgraded target model in its polished Coyote PVD coating. If that's a little bit much for you, they do have traditional DLC coating as well. But let's just face it, when you have a double stack 45 at 1911 out there on the range, the look needs to fit the caliber. Now, I have absolutely been waiting for something like this to come from Kimber, a double stack 1911. Now, a lot of times in the comments down below, people will say, well, it's not a 1911 if it's not 45. And although I completely disagree with you, this is the point where I get to say, then a boo-boo, stick your head in doo-doo, because this one's a 45, but in a double stack. All joking aside though, I just get excited when a new 1911 comes out because I like them, I enjoy them, I carried one on duty for a very long time, I trusted my life to it, and I don't run them as much as I used to because everything I do here on the channel. So when I do, it's like a nice treat, especially when you get to run one in a 45. There's just a different feel to it altogether as compared to 9, although 9 is much easier to control. The 45 just has a different push to it. Now, if you are new to the channel and you haven't watched a lot of videos here at Tactical Considerations, I'll have a build list where everything we talk about and see here today will be listed, and you can do all of your own research on everything. It'll be the first link in the description down below. And for those of you watching on TV, I'll put a QR code up here so you can scan it and do all of your own research on each and every item. And a huge thanks to Brownells. They're a big supporter of the channel here. They keep all of these things fed with ammunition, and they help me keep all of the videos coming to you guys here on YouTube. And of course, they help me keep my website up and running, which is where all of the build lists and all that additional information goes. So what exactly is the new 2K11 from Kimber? Obviously, this is a double stack 1911, hence the name 2K11. And this one specifically comes in 45, but also there's a 9mm variant, so everybody gets a little piece of love here and a little bit of action no matter what caliber you are into. This is the target model, which has a polished Coyote PVD steel slide. It has a DLC coated and fluted barrel for debris removal to make sure this thing is going to keep running even when dirty. The subframe on this thing is DLC coated. The grip module is anodized aluminum. The controls are DLC coated. It includes a stanchion anodized magwell to match that Coyote PVD. It's got a target adjustable rear sight and a tag fiber optic front sight. And one thing here that will make everybody happy, especially when we start talking about the price point, you get the magic number of 3 checkmate magazines with this one. In the 45, they're going to be 13 rounders. Of course, in the 9mm variant, you're going to have several more rounds per magazine, which is just awesome. And of course, that 1911 trigger right there, which is what everybody in the trigger market chases. So how about we take a closer look at what that's all about? All right, let's talk about what we are actually going to get with our 2K11 pistol. Of course, you're going to get that nice cardboard box, which I'm sure you're all interested in, but you will get the standard nylon carrying case that Kimber gives with their firearms, a couple of extra pockets on it. You will get 3 of the 13 round checkmate magazines with the 45, and you'll also get 3 magazines if you get your 9mm, and obviously you can store them in here. You'll get your basic paperwork, a sticker, a lock, all that stuff that you would expect to get with it, but you're also going to get your optics plate included, which is made by C&H Precision, who in my opinion makes some of the best plates out there, and it comes with it, so that is definitely nice as well. You're also going to get some additional fiber optic posts and set screws and everything for your front sight, so should you want to change it, whatever you want to do, it's going to come in here. All the tools, everything is included. That's a pretty slick and solid setup when it comes to everything that you get with this pistol. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at what this thing is. Starting from the magwell, just a beautiful stanchion magwell. All metal, very nice fit to it. Makes a very good pinky ledge down here, especially if you got larger hands. And of course, provides a ton of surface area to get that magazine in there super quick. You're gonna have that aluminum anodized grip module, that single finger groove up in there, and this thing is machined to absolute perfection. There is not any mistakes in the work completely overall on this pistol, and it just has a great feel with that finger groove in there. And then it's slightly kind of depressed right here for when you've got your grip together so you don't activate that safety, which is again all metal, and it is knurled or actually checkered. And then that is coated as well in DLC. You get that ambidextrous safety, which is DLC coated, hammer, which is coated, of course your traditional backstrap safety on there. You've got that beautiful trigger to match the coating of not only the slide but the magwell. You do have an all metal frame up here with multi-slot accessory pick rail sized up there. Very, very nice. And then as you can see, the slide work, that PVD coating, that polish work on that coyote color, it's just absolutely slick. All the machine work is perfect. Flat top design here, ports in the barrel, everything just looks super well done on this pistol, and it is just so smooth on that action from round one, super smooth. And it is a toolless takedown design, so that makes it very easy to clean, do all the maintenance and that stuff. Just overall, from a machine work perspective, very well done. And then that mainframe here, that's DLC coated, and that grip is anodized to make sure you guys see the difference there. And then of course that barrel DLC as well, and it is fluted. So when this thing starts to get dirty, those little flutes in there, actually the dirt, debris, whatever gets driven into those, so the thing will keep cycling and functioning. So let's go ahead and check that trigger. That's that normal 1911 take up right there. Remove that safety, and she's just an absolute glass break on that trigger. Very well done. The 1911 trigger is of course what pretty much everybody in the market chases when it comes to triggers, aftermarket triggers, whatever. Now let's go ahead and do 3 pulls on here and see what we get. All right, first one comes 2 pounds and 3 ounces. We'll do 3 unless I get something super funky here. Make sure we're good to go. 1 pound and 10 ounces. So I'll pull a little slower. Sometimes if you pull these digital gauges really fast, they'll show a little bit lighter. So I'll pull a little slower on this one. Make sure we're good. So 2.5 pounds. That looks good, but since I got one that was a little off, let's go ahead and do a 4th here, because why not, right? All right. So 2.3 pounds. Overall, if I'm pulling at the same speed, very consistent. But this thing, not only is it an absolute looker, but it flat out performs. Now, how about the range work on this one? And I spent some coin here because I blew through about 150 rounds of Speer Gold Dot Plus P45, which is not cheap ammunition at all, if you know what that stuff is going for. And of course, all the basic ball ammunition that I would normally put through a pistol. But she ran like an absolute boss. For a 45, she was very controllable due to the smoothness of the action. Of course, the all metal construction. It just seemed to soak up recoil like an absolute tank. From round 1 to roughly round 350, the thing was just extremely smooth and forgiving. The mag exchanges were smooth as long as I was doing my part out there on the range. It returned to target very nicely, and it ate everything I gave it, from the ball to the self-defense ammunition. The extraction and ejection looked good on all the ammo types, whether it was basic ball or high pressure self-defense. So the range day was an overall success. The thing felt good, the trigger was absolutely awesome, and I had a good time, especially since I am such a big fan of 1911s in general, and I have been waiting for another double stack 1911 to hit the market, And to appease those 45 truists out there, of course, I had to try this one in 45. Now, if you don't know, a 45 double stack, there are some of them out there, but the grip is usually just unwieldy large. So this one being aluminum, they were able to make it in a configuration that's actually usable and controllable, and you can get your fingers around, even for people that have, say, large or medium-sized hands. But, and yes, there is a big but here when we're talking about the range work. You know how us YouTubers just love to, show those super fast reloads, and we're slamming the trigger and making those quick shots, making ourselves look good and smooth out there on the range. Well, I kind of like to show the flubs too, because nobody's perfect, everybody's human, we can all make mistakes, and since I don't run 1911s as much as I used to, if you're not familiar with my channel, anytime I am talking about a 1911 pistol, I've always said, if you don't run it, it will most assuredly run you. So please enjoy this selection of flubs brought to you by Brownells.
Fail. Fail. Fail.
We'll talk about some banana fingers, right? So nobody's perfect. We're all human. We all make mistakes. And anybody out there that's telling you that they just run everything perfect 100% of the time, from striker to hammer to 1911 to Glock, whatever it is, they're probably lying to you. We all can have flubs on the range, so why not just put them on camera and everybody gets to have a good laugh. Now, since nobody gets a free pass, let's talk. Do we have any problems? Is there anything I would change? Because that's kind of the expectation here on the channel. And Kimber did send this pistol in, but they also expect me to report back any problems, because if there is one, they want to know about it so they can fix it. So out there on the range, I did have one failure to feed. I will roll that footage in here. I pretty much felt it instantaneously, and I'm almost positive I induced it by riding the safety up. That's the only one that happened, but since it was on camera, since it happened, you guys get to see it, and you guys get to be the judge. But being that this is a full custom 1911, I expected there to be like almost a couple hundred round break-in process, because generally on something this tight, you're gonna have that. So the fact that I only had that one kind of failure to go into battery right there, and I was likely me that induced it, I am completely happy with how this thing performed out there on the range. Now, is there anything I would change to say make this thing like 1% better, right? And holy crap, this is hard, because as you see this is the upgraded model, the target sights, the ported slide here, the aluminum grip module, 3 magazines with it, which is the magic number. Optics ready, the optic plate comes included, the stanchion magwell. The price on this thing is $22.99. So if you know anything about the modern 1911, especially the double stack 1911 market, that is a really good value for what you're getting here when you take into account everything that this comes with and how it performed in the video. So if I had to nitpick this thing to death, and this is something I say about every 1911, I prefer a slightly extended slide stop slide release, because my hands are large enough to where I can run the controls with my primary hand. That's not the manual of arms for 1911. You're supposed to run it with the offhand as you marry your hands back together after a magazine exchange. But that's how I run them, and a little bit of an extended control there helps me out a lot. Totally personal preference, but I think that would be the 1% better. And again, that is really nitpicking. And the other version that's not the upgraded target model, which I think doesn't have the ports in the slide, obviously doesn't have the target sight, and I don't think it has the magwell, and it's the black PVD, that thing is only $19.99. So again, for the quality, the smoothness, and how this thing ran, I don't think we can really ask for much more, especially at that price point in late 2024 with the cost of labor, raw materials. That is an aggressive price point compared to its peers. And my final thoughts on this one, I am extremely happy to see Kimber move into the modern market with the 2K11 here, because they have been releasing some really cool stuff. The KDS-9C, some of their striker rigs, and now the 2K11. And that's awesome because it's competition. And competition drives options and prices generally in our favor. We either get more for the same or sometimes more for a little bit less. So I'm a huge fan of when a company comes out with something that performs the way that this did, because it drives competitors to give us more. And I'm definitely gonna get the 9mm version in to test that, but I think that this 45 variant deserves and demands a follow-up video, well over 1,000 round review. I get a couple thousand rounds for this thing, report back to you, we see how it's wearing in, we see if there's anything that comes up. Hopefully there's not, but I think that this thing absolutely deserves it as soon as I can afford another couple thousand rounds of 45. Make sure you get subbed up to the channel. That build list will be linked down below. You keep doing it on the range. Remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And I will see you all on the next one.